Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Xerath Prevails. We're going to talk about 3v3 offense teams today. There's going to be an offense or a defense teams video that's released at the same time as this one. So don't miss out on that. It'll be linked in the video description, and it will be linked at the end of this. If you make it to the end of this video, you can also just click on it and do the lazy thing. You know, it'll be great, guys. It'll be so good. This meta is so weird, folks, and you know, we'll figure it out together, of course, and it'll be fine. We'll be fine, I'm sure. So let's see. Let's not look at that. What are we looking at that for? Wow, that was pure madness, pure unchecked, unadulterated madness. So let's actually get. Hold on a sec. There we are. I just want to say huge thank you to all of my patrons. You guys are amazing, and I truly appreciate everything you guys do. Thank you so much for all of your help. You're amazing. You're the true MVPs. If you guys want to if you want to subscribe or comment or like the video, that's the way to do supporting of the channel for free, which is maybe the most awkward way I've ever asked for it. But just want to remind you guys that's one way you can support the channel. Please mount up, guys. Mount the freaking algorithm. It's a good time. 3v3 does it. Why can't you? Now let's get to the discussion of this. This is a pretty crazy meta now, because everything's gone. All of the craziness is gone. Set 8 didn't change that much. Whoa, we're in the game. Madness, folks. So, all right. First off, who here? Raise your hand if you have a Cal Kestis Relic 7. I don't have one. I'll have one eventually, but I don't think it's gonna matter that much in 3v3. I think you're gonna want to use set 7 anyways for the resistance crons, and still just keep boosting Ray a whole lot, get her offense really high. And so I'll say that right now I think that a lot of people who had Cal last 3v3 and were using him with Ray, which, I mean, that's mostly just Wales, of course, which is fine, but they said that he was better with Ray. I feel like I fought a couple of them. He does okay. I mean, Hoda is good because he kind of protects himself with his stealth and stuff. I mean, and Hoda gives a bunch of offense boost to Ray as well. I think my favorite is still going to be Ray, Ben, and Hoda. Remember, this is for offense teams. You could also maybe, I don't know, now that Ben is here, you just can't go without him. You're gonna need him to go with the team. Otherwise, I'd say like the old school Ray, Basti, and Hoda is also really good. But pick your poison, I guess. The one nice thing about using Cal, I don't think he has a really much of a home this 3v3 season, especially if you don't have Seer Relic, which I don't even have a relic yet. So if you don't have her ready to go, and I don't think that team's going to be amazing in threes anyways, but if you don't, like, you could use him there, and then Hoda is just very plug and play. You can use him on any team. I like Ray on offense in threes, guys. There's a lot more things that counter her in threes in some ways, like Sith Eternal suddenly becomes a lot more of a threat, for instance, than in fives. So yeah, this team is good on offense or defense. Pick or choose if you want. Now in threes, I really like having First Order TIE Pilot available, because then we can use Red Trooper and Hux and be able to delete some of these turn meter teams. So Supreme Leader Kylo can hang out with Daka Zombie, especially because even though we're getting Marin and some people already have her, I don't really know how much she moves the needle in threes anyways, frankly. But we'll have to see. I mean, I'll keep my eyes open, but for the majority of people, we're not going to have a 3v3 team with Marin anyways, so I think that Kylo has at least one more time with Daka Zombie, and I mean, you're going to be able to counter like the same stuff you always do, like Lord Vader is still on the table. I mean, most things you can counter a Rey team with that, because Rey just does a whirlwind and kills Zombie all the time, and then her big hit with the ult doesn't kill Daka if you have Daka modded for health and stuff. So, you know, you're going to be able to kill the stuff you normally do, and yeah, I mean, doesn't really require that much more. Now, I do have Maul here. When I was making the video, when I do these teams, guys, I click the unique button, so then I can just create a bunch of teams that don't have overlap. And so on defense, we have Lord Vader, and so I do actually have a variant of Lord Vader with Maul on it. So you guys can see that on the defensive end. On the offensive end, you're going to want to realize, folks, that any of you who had a Relic 7 Canderous and had the really helpful Candycron, it's gone now, obviously, but it's going to make a pretty big difference. You don't realize how much of a difference that Armor Shred made for this team, and I think that this team is still going to be able to take out at least some General Skywalkers. It's going to be an interesting thing, though, folks. Now that we don't have the Kron available, like Armor suddenly, like the General Skywalker teams also are going to go before you unless you get a lightning quick Armorer, which, I mean, that's possible in the 3s because Rex isn't getting, he's missing 8% of his turn meter, or speed that he normally gains from everything, so you could make a lightning fast armor. I don't know if I'm going to actually use this team to take out General Skywalker. Like, that Skywalker suddenly is a problem again, and I'm very interested to see how we, as a community, tackle it. Otherwise, this team does still have legs as long as you can get a turn. Probably want to make your armor pretty quick. Mine is not fast. Like, I'm still modded for just, I mean, she's a little bit fast, I guess. She's just modded for general shenanigans. She wanted to be weaker than Canderous, etc. for the old Kron set. So I don't really know how, like, this team might be better if you just throw him with Lord Vader. I'm not sure. General or Jedi Master Luke, you guys, make a priority if you can. Try to get as a protection Kron for him. That's the only thing. Like, start and end, people were kind of miffed. I saw a few different people saying, like, how could you forget to put Jedi Master Luke on your infographic for set 8? And I'm like, well, it's real simple. Just put protection on the Kron and ship it. Like, there's nothing else that really matters. Like, sure, I guess there's a level 3 that you could probably get that would make a small difference, but the level 3s on set 8 aren't that great anyway. So this is probably my favorite Jedi Master Luke team that, it's kind of bargain basement, but in 3s, I mean, he's still not doing that great. On defense, you can place him, but, like, if I do that, people just use dash to kill him. So, keep him on offense. Probably not killing Galactic Legends at this point. If you really need to punch up, then you can probably just add Revan and Luke instead, or just take Luke and Yoda, and then use Jedi Revan somewhere else. Mace is kind of you don't want him with Jedi Master Luke. He's kind of, I mean, man, I keep promising myself I'm going to get him Relic 8 at some point. He is so strong. I mean, I'd love him to be Relic 9 even, because he's a tank. But keep in mind, you don't want him with Jedi Master Luke because he has his own taunt. And one of the strengths of Jedi Master Luke is that he keeps everyone on his team safe. That doesn't happen with Mace, who's like, hey, you can hit me if you want. And Luke's like, you know what, you weren't nice to my dad. I guess I'm okay with you taking a few punches to the face. There's a reason Mace rhymes with face, and I'm sure that's it. Take some punches there. So Jedi Revan, guys, this team here with Mace is going to do you a lot of good. Now, I know that a lot of people like to split up Jedi Revan and Jedi Luke, and I understand that, and sometimes I do it too. But I will say, like, so this team, sometimes you want to use Luke as lead, but this will take down like a Malgus team sometimes. Not like the full bastard Malgus with Darth Revan and Basti, but like the lesser teams with Malgus plus, Marauder and Talon or something. I'm telling you, it's a really good comp. But this Revan team that you'll be able to take out like Zori squads, for instance. That's one of the best. It's like 86% win rate against Zori squads because Mace dispels all their stealth. It's a mess for Zori. You can target who you want. You can dispel their damage immunity. It's with Luke and with Mace. It's very good. So Jedi Master Kenobi, I think we're going to see him more on offense this season because first off, you're going to see more Revas as more guilds unlock her. I know that I'm in the minority still. I have Reva on my alt and on my main account, but not a lot of people do. So people are going to start placing Reva on defense, I think. We'll see, at least. And so you're like Kenobi and Cat, I think this team still has legs in 3v3 against Reva. I'm not totally sure about that. We just haven't been able to see it yet. But beyond that, I think that we're also going to be seeing, like, now that we don't have Afra to just dispatch of Jabba now, we're probably going to be seeing Kenobi killing Jabba as well. And it's going to be a lot tougher because Cat is just not going to be, like, she just smote the Chrysanthemum of the world, and now we're gonna have to actually kill him at least one time the honest way. So this works. You can also take Kenobi out and put Mace here. Mace is actually pretty good against Jabba, and then but I don't know where you put Kenobi. Like, he's a good tank. I'm sure you'll find a place, but he's not an offensive character, so you can't like just swap Kenobi and Mace and assume that Kenobi's gonna keep your Revan Luke team safe. So just things to be thinking about, guys. I like to bunch all of my Jedi together, at least like some of the main teams, because like really there's a lot of trade-offs for all of them, and you just want to make sure that you're allocating the right resources and being flexible. That's one of the joys of keeping a lot of Jedi for offense, is then you can just plug and play as necessary. Now, General Skywalker, I think I put this on my defense tab as well, folks. You can see offense versus defense here. I think I put Skywalker on my defense tab as well because, okay, so you're going to want to use set 7 for him, I think, for armor, but you could also, if you find a really good Kron that has a lot of offense, or a lot of crit damage and protection, that might also work here. The thing about this current set, like, you want to be a little bit careful with crit avoid, because you kind of want him to be critable. Even though once you kill Rex and 5s, he becomes immune to crits, you kind of want him to be crit, because that's how he cleanses his buffs or debuffs that happen to him. Like, people stun him and then immediately crit him again, and then he dispels it, he self-dispels it. But if you're if you're stopping people from critting you, then there's an issue because you're not dispelling. So keep in mind, he kind of wants to be crit in a way. Just give him a lot of armor from set 7, or give him a lot of protection from set 8, and call it good. Extra damage is also nice. Potency is also nice, etc. Okay, so Sith Eternal Emperor. I don't see much reason to give. So one allocation I guess you could do, guys, is if you want to take Maul for defense, put him on defense with Lord Vader, for instance, or just with another Mando team. You can Wat is also pretty good with Maul, in fact, so you can kind of just mix and match here. But you can put armor with Sith Eternal Emperor, and that probably works just fine. You can also use Sith Eternal Emperor alone against certain teams. Like General Skywalker is a great example. You can also use armor with Sith Eternal. Wat's better than armor in my opinion in general, but you can do that. But then Wat could go with like Trench if you really wanted to as well, if you wanted to. And I don't know, like this is the pretty standard comp. Trench is just a really strange thing. We'll talk about Trench in a little bit. I don't know how many legs he's gonna have in 3s, like probably still 8, just the way he normally is, because he's a spider creature. But Sith Eternal Emperor, he's still a monster on offense. I'm interested to see if we can make some good defensive builds for him this season as well, especially because, as you'll see, Malak is kind of just like free floating, like he's just kind of roaming about. I think we'll see him a little bit later in this video as well. Okay, so Kira, if you have a good Kira Kron with like some good armor pen or whatever, she actually boosts this team a decent amount. And honestly, like Han and Chewie just kind of they go well with a lot of different leaders. Of course, that's just how they roll. That's their thing. in 3v3 at least, and Kira does pretty decent with her Kron. You need her Kron to do well, but then you suddenly have things like Han, when he stuns people, does an extra 35% damage to their max health damage to people, and Chewie when he tries to stun, and then again when Han stuns a second time. Like this team does pretty well. You know, I usually prefer not Kira for offense, but this team works pretty well. I like Bam as the lead, as the ideal, but you'll see Bam has other uses this season, I think. Okay, so we have this Dash team, and honestly, you just want to make a choice between YOLO and Landino. I think, guys, I'm a little bit regretting that I got Landino up to Relic 8. Yes, he hits very hard. Yes, he does some good stuff. And honestly, he did really well for me for several seasons, so I'm not really going to complain that much. But honestly, I like YOLO lately because he ramps his damage so nicely, and he's the one that helps you tackle those Jedi Master Luke teams that are on defense. And I mean, this team is so unassuming, but does a lot of really good work. So you know, mix and match, but Vandor with Dash is just it's like peas and carrots. It's like Forrest Gump and Ginny, even though Ginny is not the greatest for him or for anyone. She's just kind of poisonous, but anyways, the splits for Inquisition are so strange, folks. So strange. So I guess I'll show you my kind of idea here. Yeah, like we have three different teams that are kind of interchanging. So we've got Reva here. Well, I think it's gonna, honestly, I think the best team, because you want to take out like Galactic Legends and threaten them. You probably want like a Reva squad with Grand Inquisitor and probably 7th Sister, but sometimes 5th or 8th, depending on what you need. If you need like Dispels or whatever. Like 5th Brother does some pretty decent stuff. 8th Brother does a lot of damage. 7th Sister obviously heals and ability blocks and dazes, and does a, you know, count. She also assists, and you also have the tank from Reva, so you can do that. Remember, if you don't have Reva, then you can also still just use Grand Inquisitor with 7th Sister, and then you know, you can use 9th Sister. I think 9th is honestly generally going to be better in that case, but you can also use 5th or 8th, probably pretty interchangeably with that team. Remember, they're not going to be as good without the Grand Inquisitor Kron that we had last season, though we do have some Ufu Krons that are going to be okay for Inquisition. If you want to see that video, guys, my Datacron video, or with the infographic, you know, you can go to my Discord server and find the infographic, or you can just look a little bit back. I think last Monday, or yeah, was when I released my Omicron video, so a week ago. You go check it out though to see the different Krons that you want to try sniping out for Grand Inquisitor. Okay, so we have Darth Vader with Starkiller and 9th Sister. Now this isn't going to work as well this season because we don't have the really awesome 9th Sister Kron that does AoE fear, but Darth Vader with Starkiller and 9th Sister should still kill the majority of General Skywalker squads, and that's why I kind of have them split this way, because we have the really awesome Mara Jade Kron this season, and you can see we have Darth Malak or Gideon here. Gideon actually has a few different other places he wants to be, but he's also really fast. I mean, my Mara Jade tends to be really fast anyways. I think I just boosted her. Yeah, her speed is pretty good. You want, I think on my alt is where I boosted her, but I mean, my Moff Gideon is still faster than her, so if you need that extra boost of speed, Gideon is nice, and then, you know, he gives them a lot more tankiness because of his unique that he gives everyone. Otherwise, Darth Malak is probably an okay fill-in here. I mean, he works decently well with Palpatine and Mara Jade. Just remember, you can't really control when he is taunting, and it almost seems like a waste, but if you keep him for offense, you can also run into some situations where he can just solo a team. He doesn't always get to do that, but he does decently. Mara Jade is, I'm also, guys, if we're just being honest, I'm almost certainly going to be using EP Mara with Starkiller sometimes, maybe even the majority of times this season, though. If I can get away with these two splits, I think I'm going to try to do that, just because I mean, that's probably a better allocation of resources anyways, because otherwise these, like, Darth Vader just stops having a really wonderful place to hang out if he doesn't go with Starkiller, and Starkiller likes to follow him around like a little puppy, so we'll have to see how this all goes. Gideon, on the other hand, can go here with the Gidme team. You guys have seen that video, I'm sure. Maybe you haven't, but where he just generates so much protection up that her courage levels go through the roof, at least for the support characters for Grand Galactic Republic. So Padme and R2. I like R2 here because he has his burn a nation ability, where he doesn't burn nations, guys. He just burns things, sets them on fire, and he can't miss. So Padme and R2 both can't miss with the really high boosted protection up, you know, with all the extra courage stacks. Really, really potent combo, especially in 3s. 5s, it loses a little bit in translation, but Gideon, like the Gidme team, one of my favorite teams. The troopers are going to be diminished, guys, because they don't get that extra 60% turn meter start for Dark Trooper, but they're still going to be doing a lot of stuff. They'll still be wrecking faces. Just make sure you get your Admiral Piet speed back up, because he hasn't needed to be fast for a long time. I've actually just, I don't know, been lazy in some ways. I've left him fairly quick, so, you know, he's 375, and that'll be enough for most people. We have the Hux team with First Order TIE Pilot and Sith Trooper. I wonder how fast I bet my Hux is not very, he's not well modded right now. I've been neglecting him. Yeah, you probably want him at 300 speed-ish, because remember, he's getting another 100 speed, so you want him to be right around 400 so you can outspeed teams that would seek to destroy you, like this Gidme team. Moff Gideon would really love to go before Hux and company. So otherwise, just remember, guys, on offense, I think I put this on offense and defense, in fact, for that tab for Raddus. Just remember, guys, Raddus and Jyn, you have to use those two together. That's the combo. You like it's mandated. It is demanded by the gods. It is, but. Then you really want a tank. If you have K2SO with the Set 7 Kron, wonderful. He is so good. But just remember, guys, if it's on offense or defense, you really want a tank. I guess if it's on offense, you could pick and choose. Maybe you want to take Cassian instead, because the AI is dumb and just hits Jyn. But one way or another, you really want the tank for K2. On offense, Wampa just kills one team, usually. But people are starting to place boards that deny Wampa. It's pretty sad. Then we have Bossk at lead. So this is my split, guys, for my bounty hunters right now. So Bossk with Piet, with Fett. The Piet and Fett, they rhyme, I guess. That's like a slant rhyme. But so this team combined is going to be doing some decent things too. Like last season, I realized that that Boba was able to shoot with his basic. He hits the weakest, so he hits whoever he's shooting, and then he does another hit. Yeah, so it does damage to enemy twice, and he can ignore taunt as well, so which is really nice. So if the enemy has no protection, it does more damage with his hit. But then let's see, I think it was his basic that like he also hits the weakest enemy. I swear he does. Hold on a sec, guy. Here it is. Okay, so it's not his basic, folks. My bad. Though his basic is really nice. If they have no protection, then you're going to be doing 4 instances of damage, which is nice against the weakest character. But even if they're in stealth, when you do your basic, if you do your first special, then it does damage to the target enemy and the weakest enemy, which is really nice. So you can slowly, even if they're hiding behind a taunt, you can still hit their weakest. So really nice. You get your contract, and then obviously Mando does Mando things, and life goes on, except for your opponents. So that leaves the Fennec, Bam, and Greef team, which is going to kill a lot of Lord Vaders. Now, Lord Vader has this really strange, he has the Dot Kron again, which boosts his protection, which is going to make things a little bit more complicated, of course, because this team won't work against some of that, though I will say, if you wanted to add Embo here instead of Beskar Mando, or, you know, sometimes I think you need Grief, though. Grief is one of the necessary components. You get your contract really fast against Lord Vader, but if you take Embo, you're going to be able to have him just dispel all those stacks of protection up on Lord Vader and still be able to take him out. We did that last season a few times. Depends on the Lord Vader comp, of course. If you put Embo instead of Bam, then you're not going to be able to kill like Maul versions of this of the Lord Vader team. So just get something to keep in mind, folks. Also, they're going to be like Boba Fett variants of this team. I just don't think we see Lord Vader on defense a ton this season, to be honest. Like, I'll put him on defense some, but I'll be pretty selective on that as well. Which, of course, was why I put him on the defensive tab, but yeah, Lord Vader's going to be on offense for me too. Let's see, so Dr. Aphra, she's greatly diminished, and for now I think I'm going to keep her for offense. It's just a weird thing, guys. I want to make her really tanky, but I also really like I'm top like 30 or something. It's probably changed at this point, but I've gotten her a lot of potency, and I really don't want to change my set on her, and I know that that's probably just vain and foolish of me, but you know, she's got really good speed with really good potency, and so maybe if I want to make her tanky, I'll just make her Relic 9. How about that? I don't know. For defense, if you want to do that, this team just folds to like Han Chewie team though at this point, because the Datacron was what was propping her up. I'll be interested to see though. I think she's gonna have more legs than people give her credit for, though she's just not gonna be as crazy broken as she was, getting bonus turns every time a droid takes a turn. That was just really good. Now you can see I labeled it not great. This Trench team with I think Trench really wants Dooku because everyone else wants to place their teams, that we want to place all those other characters that normally go with Trench elsewhere, like Watt. I mean, honestly, the Trench Cron really likes Watt, but if we do that though, then Trench goes with like Dooku and Watt, and then who's tanking? Like, you don't want any of them to tank. It's just a big mess. So I don't know. On offense, we'll see if this works. Probably just mix and match other Separatists onto this team. Maybe we just use Trench with some Geos. I don't really know, guys. It's a mess. Like I said, I want to make them work. We'll be experimenting with that. No promises, though. Okay, so we have the GL Newt team, and I would really want to get a Cron. I still haven't gotten many Separatist Crons, and I keep rolling really poorly for their level 6 ability for the set 8, but this team does really well with the 100% health and protection damage boost. Remember, that only happens during their turn, so B1 doesn't passively do damage like double damage every time he shoots. Just he'll do his passive damage, but he'll only do passive damage on his own, or he'll only do double damage on his own turn, but he's permanently full health and full protection, which is really helpful. Jango is full health and full protection for 2 turns, guaranteed. Maybe he'll be stunned for some of those if you're not careful, or ability blocked, but that's guaranteed. And then Newt, you can heal Newt with B1 and get him to, I mean, he doesn't do that much damage, frankly, but this team will take out Tuskens, for instance. Very interested to see where this all goes. I really like the Mothra team with Kyle Katarn and Bistan. I think Bistan's the best third character because he takes a lot of turns. Though Pow is fine, Hoth Rebel Soldier or Scout is really good with this. And this team always gets a lot more use in 3s for me. So I have on defense a different version of this, guys. You want Shock T on defense with Echo and Tech if you want to do that. And if you want to do that, then you obviously can't use this squad. This squad is very strong on offense, though. But it's always like, well, if everything goes perfectly, like this team is also fraught with peril, folks. Even if you mod it well, even if everything seems to be going well, like sometimes it just falls short. So yes, I like this team. Sometimes I like to put the Shock T squad or version on defense just to make it so that I have to find a better version, solution to some of the teams that I'm countering with this. So I put this on defense as well. The defense version, like this, just gets destroyed by Wampa, for instance, or like Troopers, or there's a lot of teams that just demolish this. So for offense, I wanted to try it. I think I have tried it against Iden, and it just doesn't have enough offense. I don't really know. Like, Sana teams are just, they've been so disappointing lately. She seemed so promising initially, and she's just not really moving the needle much. I think you could maybe find a few teams to use with her on, though, on offense. On defense, she's just going to get eaten by Wampa, is my guess. Which is a big deal for me, because I'm like, oh, cool, they actually placed a team I can use Wampa on. This is great. And so Talzin, so if we're using Old Daka and Zombie with Supreme Leader Kylo, this is the best. Like, maybe you take Marin with, or maybe you take Spirit. This team doesn't do that great. You can use it to clean up something. I have the Omicron on Asajj. Eventually I'll have it on Marin as well. And we'll mess around with the Talzin, Ventress, Marin squads. I don't know. Like I keep saying, guys, don't know how that's all going to pan out. We don't have a way to revive. So in threes, I don't know if Marin's going to be much good. We have Jedi Training Rey with BB-8 is actually, because we have Sortie on defense, and we don't want BB-8 with that team, as you'll see. So Jedi Training Rey, BB-8, and then Rose Tico. Rose has a good cron, a good-ish at least. Probably want to make her a little bit beefier than I have her. She's not naturally that tanky. I just have a lot of potency on her. Probably could make her significantly tankier, but as you can see at Relic 8, or Relic 7, she's still like just pretty scrawny and weak. If you could protect her, that would be wonderful. I don't know how you would manage such a thing. Maybe take BB-8 out and put Holdo there. Holdo. I don't know. Nest has a cool cron. You could use Boba Fett lead just to give her extra crit damage, which is never a bad thing. So all allies gain 50% crit damage, and the crit chance is actually more relevant than you might think with Nest. She has a pretty good cron. If she can do the 30%, 35% max health damage, pretty good. And then we have for offense, we have this what I would call desperation mode team. It's not that bad, but so they all have a dispel. They all have Ezra does some decent damage. They all have a decent amount of hit points. They all do. This is an okay team. For me, this isn't a team that I would use that much, but I mean that's me speaking from top 50 land, where everyone's just got obnoxious teams on defense and you just can't deal. So yeah, I mean this team is probably a lot better for smaller rosters. I would recommend using it, not at all if you can help it, but sometimes you can't help it. So that's what I'm doing. Of course, as always, guys, watch my streams if you can, or watch my recaps on YouTube. If you want to see me using these teams, and of course I have to change things up. I can't show you guys my some of the teams I'm using. All of these teams are teams I would potentially use, but keep in mind I'm going to be changing things up throughout the season, and if some of these aren't the very best versions of themselves, we'll make corrections as the season goes on. That being said, folks, this video went a little longer than I wanted. I hope this was helpful, though. 3v3 has a lot of teams and bears a lot of discussion. So thank you all so much for watching. Watch the defensive teams video next. It should appear below me somewhere here. And one way or another, guys, thank you all so much for watching. And remember that in all things, Xaereth prevails.